What is this? Well, it's nothing unusual, it's just that Pomni is sleeping very well. Let's leave her alone for now. Hello everyone. While the writers are getting ready for the new episode, which will apparently be released very soon, we are going to talk about the latest teaser of the second episode and also take a look at some leaks, because they contain a lot of interesting things. Well, before you start this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like it, and write a comment. And here we go. Well, I will not wait long and show you the new teaser, analyze it, and tell you some theories that have already appeared around this video. It's actually very strange to say that this is the teaser of the second episode, because some people consider the pilot episode to be the first episode, and some people convince everyone that the pilot episode is just an introductory part before the first episode, but many people still consider it to be the first episode. So we're going to watch the teaser of the second episode. Remember the hilarious wacky watch that took us to a weird website that had a teaser video of the pilot episode, and since it was official, we can say that this video that you will see in a few seconds is indeed a teaser of the new episode. That's really what we were shown, just a looped short video of Pomni sleeping sweetly in his new room. I sat there like an idiot for about 5 minutes waiting for some kind of continuation, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. But even such a short episode gives us a lot of information, so let's start analyzing this teaser. The first thing to notice is Pomni's bed. You can see that it is exactly the same as Pomni's clothes. The same colors and the same pattern in alternating stripes, which means that Pomni is definitely in her room and has not accidentally snuck into someone else's room and made a bed there. This is also supported by the color scheme of the room itself, which is dominated by blue and red. Pay attention to what is behind Pomni. There is a dark area in the middle of the bright room, and on the sides you can see red curtains. So there's something in there worth shutting yourself off from. At first I thought it was a door, but that version was immediately unusable because it would be very inconvenient. Imagine you open the door and the first thing you see is someone's bed. I have a hunch that there is nothing there and that this so-called hole is the connection between rooms with other characters. I know that would be very weird, but this is the amazing Digital Circus we're talking about. Maybe this teaser is a reference to a very old leak of Pomni's room, because originally it was shown that this room is made in darker colors and there are a lot of little cane flying around the sleeping Pomni. And if you look closely, you can see that in the original concept, Pomni's bed was in the same colors as Kane's. So it's likely that once the characters get to the Digital Circus, they'll spend the first few hours in Kane's room before settling into their own. To summarize a bit of the analysis before we get to the theories, I would like to say that Pomni's room is very consistent with her image as a fool, because Kaufmo's room, which is kind of a clown, was very dark, but it's very silly to judge because we haven't seen her original appearance. Also remember Gangel's room, which is also very gloomy. I'm very glad that Pomni's room reflects the essence of Digital Circus, because even if you combine Gangel and Kaufmo's rooms, they still won't be as interesting as the room from the teaser. Now let's get to the theories, one of which will be about the new release date, so be sure to watch to the end. You can see how tired Pomni is because she is not embarrassed for a second by the very bright lighting around her. I'm sure that this teaser is the very beginning of the second episode, which is a continuation of the plot of the pilot episode. But why the room? I think it will be one of the key locations of the second episode, and something will happen in it that will make us very worried. Maybe even someone will be abstracted, and maybe it will be Kinger, maybe it will be Zubul, maybe it will be Jax. I will not reveal all the cards yet because I already have a video on this topic and you will be able to see it in the near future. Or the room is a reflection of the character's inner state. So while Pomni's mental health is good, her room looks so bright and colorful, but as soon as she starts having some problems, we'll see her room fade and turn into something creepy. And maybe this teaser tells us that Pomni is doing well so far, but the second episode will make her go a bit crazy, and at the very end of the new episode we will see her room in a different state. A clear confirmation of this theory is that Kaufmo's room was hardly always like this, but when he went completely insane, we saw from the Bright Clown's room, some room where the psychopath lived. The second theory is even crazier, and it says that Pomni is actually a circus performer and is currently sleeping in his dressing room, and the horror she experienced in the pilot episode is just a bad dream. But all the characters we were shown are real people in costumes, and then the whole plot will be built around the circus, but not digitally, but quite real. And finally, about the teaser and the release date of the new episode. As we remember from my previous videos, we were already shown a little message wishing us a Merry Christmas and saying that we will see more of the Digital Circus very soon. That was the first hint of the new episode, but if we see the teaser, it means that the episode is 99% finished, and there are still some things to be done like voice acting, color correction, or dubbing. Based on the fact that we are already so heated up with various news and leaks, we can safely say that the new episode is expected in the next 3-4 weeks. Maybe even by the end of January, we will be able to make tea, buy sweets, and enjoy 20-25 minutes of quality and interesting animation. With the teaser out of the way, let's talk about a very interesting leak, the concept of the Digital Circus itself. We've seen different parts of the circus, but we've never been shown the entire structure. At first glance, the entire Digital Circus appears to be just two huge rooms, one of which is a common room, and the second of which contains a corridor with doors leading to other characters' rooms. But if you take a closer look at the concept, you can easily see that the Digital Circus consists of 5 floors. But I will come back to that later, because I have a very interesting assumption about how all these rooms will be used. Right away, we can say that the height of the Digital Circus is huge, because in the pilot episode, we only saw the first floor. But we can already understand how high the ceilings of each floor are. But if you look closely, you'll find the famous Pomni. And if we take into account that their height in the Digital Circus is about 150 centimeters, and that one floor is as high as 6 Pomni, we can easily say that one floor is about 9 meters high, i.e. the first 3 floors already give us 27 meters. The 4th floor is a little higher, about 12 meters, and the extreme point of the 5th floor is 25 meters. In total, we get that the height of the circus is 64 meters, which in modern realities is about the height of a 22-story building. Imagine how big this Digital Circus is. And on the concept art, we see the castle where some of the events of the pilot episode took place. But if it is emphasized so much, then most likely in the next episodes we will be able to see it from the inside, and maybe it will play an important role in some episode. I think it will probably be some new Kane adventure of the fun horror variety. For example, he will kidnap Ragatha and lock him up in one of the castle rooms, and the rest of the characters will have to solve puzzles, face evil dummies and so on to find the key and free the kindest and nicest character. We were also shown some flying figures and a bubble tower, but I think they're just decoration and unlikely to be really interesting for us in the future. Remember how I said that you can find Pomni in this concept, so its location is no coincidence either. I am 100% sure that this location is the place where our characters live, the so-called dormitory. And this sitting area was already shown to us in the pilot episode. I also noticed another old room on the 5th floor. This place is called the Crow's Nest, but for some reason, the author called it funny. Let's find out what it is and what crows have to do with it. As funny as it may sound, the birds are not important here, because the crow's nest is called an observation post in the form of an open barrel on the ship. So this place is for observation. But how can you see anything from there when it is on the 5th floor and the main action so far has been on the 1st floor? But there's an important clue that suggests there might be a small cafe inside. And now I have the whole picture. Remember the place where Kane and Bubble had lunch? That's the cafe in the crow's nest. But we see trees in the windows, and the concept says that this place is inside the Digital Circus tent. Actually, it's easy to explain because it doesn't take much time and effort to build an artificial park. But I still haven't answered the question of how you can see anything from there if it's an observation post. Friends, come to your senses. We live in the digital age, and the Digital Circus is a huge, sophisticated, and high-quality technology. And the essence of the observation post is that only in this place work radars on the watch. Kane, one of these radars, by the way, we have already seen because it was he who discovered the infiltration of Pomni in the void. A separate mystery of this concept are strange shaded rooms whose purpose we do not even suspect, but most likely in the new episodes we will reveal their mystery. And just so you know, there is a concept of the 1st floor with a view from above. But what's really interesting about this concept are the balconies. On the one hand, in a circus they should be for the audience, and it's logical and understandable. But the amazing Digital Circus is a show or a game. So what are the balconies for? Maybe to create a real circus atmosphere. But what if someone from the real world could come into the Digital Circus and watch everything from above, unnoticed by our characters? Maybe it is a circle of very rich people who financed this project, or ordinary gamers who put on a headset and joined the audience. Maybe some of our characters once watched all of this, but just do not remember it or have erased the memory from their minds. And now to the latest leak, the Gloinx Queen concept art. I don't know why it was shown to us, but there is a possibility that this character, despite being an NPC, will appear in future Kane missions. Right away we see that she has 4 mouths. The question is why? The answer is, I don't know. But one head is the main head because it can talk and eat, and the second head is only created to give birth to new Gloinx. In this scene we see garbage and various objects turning into these Gloinx. Actually it will be a vicious circle, because garbage turns into Gloinx. Gloinx bring their queen new garbage and she eats it and creates new Gloinx. Well, the rest of the mouths just don't make sense and are made for fun. Well, and a colorful conclusion will be a clarification from the authors themselves that the Gloinx Queen resembles a garbage bag full of solid objects, which is generally true. Well, that's all for now. I will join you in looking forward to new leaks, trailers, or new teasers of the 2nd episode, which as I said will be very, very soon. Well, I would like to wish you success and good luck and say see you soon in new videos that will appear every 2 days.